Oh, so I'm way too lazy to type this out. So I thought I'd jump on a video. Um, I want to talk about something that a very lovely lady raised on the phone with me just a moment ago. And that is the fear of whatever you're working on coming back. So this lovely lady is been working by herself with EFT on anxiety. She's found it incredibly effective. And her concern was, now I'm not feeling the anxiety. What do I say when I tap? But also there was a, is it going to come back? Because EFT can be so effective that it almost feels too easy. I'm like, well, hang on a minute. That was way too easy. Something's going to smack me on the back of the head here any moment. That was too simple. But it can be that easy. But I would be a liar, liar, pants on fire if I'd said to her, "Oh, it's never going to come back." And there's a reason I say this, and I'm not saying it to be alarmist, but I don't see the point of blowing smoke up people's asses. The reality is it may well come back, and the reason it may well come back is, and I don't like this term, but I haven't found another one that says the same thing that I like, but every level has a new devil. And when you level up, it can trigger those old feelings. So to give you a personal example with that, my big thing in forever is self-doubt. I know, but trust me on this. Self-doubt, huge, huge for me, huge for me. Not because my parents were terrible. I have to say that in case my mum's watching. Far from it. There was just, I don't know what it was. Something, just a lot of self-doubt. And I have struggled with that, and it's kept me trapped until I discovered EFT. And I've done a lot of work on it. I've done a lot of personal development on it. I am in a pretty awesome place now. I am a pretty confident person. Not an awful lot phases me. But right now, I am in the process of going through a massive up level. A lot of stuff is changing very quickly. Um, I am shedding who I used to be so that I can step into who I am becoming, and there is a bit of a lag time on that, as there is in most cases. And in this lag time, it can feel like your world is falling apart. I am. I have invested in a new mentor, in new coaching. I am being challenged to rethink stuff and rehash stuff and maybe do things in a different way. I have spent a number of years doing what I do and feeling very comfortable doing that. But I want to grow. So this is why I'm invested in to do that. And as a result of that, I'm having to think in different ways. I'm having to do different things, which is challenging my sense of identity. And because of that, my self-doubt has come a knocking. Hello, I'm back again. Hello. I may or may not have had a mini meltdown fairly recently. I may or may not. But the difference is, I am not the same person. So when I first had struggling with self-doubt, I am not the same person because I've done a load of work on it. So I now have tools that I can use. And I've even been able to reframe that self-doubt because it will only ever come a knock-in if I'm about to up level, because I'm about to do something different. I'm about to do something new that I'm possibly a bit uncertain about. I don't know exactly what I'm doing or how it's going to go. And so the self-doubt pops up. And I can now see it as awesome. Some self-doubt has popped up. That little voice has gone, oh no, you're not good enough to do this. Fantastic. Because that means I'm about to take a massive step upwards. I'm about to up level. If I wasn't, this voice wouldn't have come back. So I can reframe it as kind of like a canary. Up level. That's not what a canary sound like, but you know what I mean. And I can celebrate it, which sounds counterintuitive, but I actually physically celebrate. I jump around. I jump around the kitchen. I look like an absolute loon. I jump around the kitchen. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm full of self-doubt. Woo, yeah. because it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it means something awesome's about to happen. Woo! So in those terms, if you're working with something like anxiety, have a think about why your anxiety started in the first place. Was it because you were put in a challenging situation you didn't know how to handle? Was it because you feared some kind of change coming up? So as you now use something like EFT or whatever floats your boat to help you handle your anxiety. First off, I know it feels awful, but there's nothing actually wrong or bad about anxiety. Oh, I know. You can argue this with me. I'm going to dive my mountain over this. There's actually nothing wrong with it. It is a necessary evolutionary emotion. It's just that the world we're in these days, we're not really designed to be living like this. We're not designed to be on screens all the time. We're not designed to be dealing with something like social media that's on all the time. We're not designed to be constantly bombarded by the news, which is never good. We're not designed to be living in this level of fear, and fear just seems to be being pumped at us. We're not designed for it. We're designed to be part of nature. We're designed with circadian rhythms, which our screens completely up. We're designed to be, out going for walks and hugging trees and moving with our cycles. So the world has changed incredibly quickly, but we haven't had a chance to catch up. I'm not even sure I want to catch up, to be honest. Well, that's a whole different video. So it may be that your anxiety comes back. It may happen. But here's the deal. You're not the same person anymore. You have grown. You now have tools and techniques you didn't have back then. You know it's worked before. There's zero reason why it shouldn't work again. Zero reason. You have this knowledge now. You didn't have it then. You didn't have it. You don't know what you don't know, right? And you got through that. It may have felt like the worst fucking thing in the world. It might have been just awful. It may have felt like you wouldn't get through it, but you did, because you're here, listening to me. You are more powerful and stronger than you realize. So flip the script here. Instead of worrying about whether it'll come back, be confident in the fact that you know how to handle it if it does. It might not. But if it does, you've got it. And if it does, what is it trying to protect you from? Is it because you're about to go through an up level? In which case, oh, lovely stuff. Now, there is a caveat to this. Oh, there's always a caveat. There's always a catch, isn't there? When you are working with EFT for trauma and you are working with a trained professional who is certified in trauma, the way we use EFT for a trauma memory, as long as all the aspects are kind of healed, and by aspects I mean senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. So for instance, if you've been in a car accident, as we do tapping on that, we cover things like, what did it sound like? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you smell? What did you taste? Because your senses heighten in those times of extreme stress response when you are frightened for your life. All your senses heighten, all of them, and your vision widens. Everything goes on super high alert. So all those aspects need to be covered. It may be that they're okay, but they need to be covered. And if they're covered properly and they're healed and they're cleared, then they shouldn't come back. you should be able to just have the memory without having all the emotional upheaval that comes with it. You can even, if you're working with someone who is trained in matrix re-imprinting, you can even work on the memory itself. Different video. So that's the only caveat here, is if you have been working with a professional who is trained in trauma and how to use EFT for trauma, I'm going to stick with EFT because what I know, then those emotions attached to the traumatic memory shouldn't come back when you think of that memory. Hope that makes sense. In terms of stuff like self-doubt, anxiety, things like that, they might come back. Unless you get to the root cause of them and clear it, which working by yourself, you may do, but speaking from personal experience and having had feedback from hundreds of clients, it's difficult to get to the places you need to get to by yourself because your subconscious will shut you down to protect you. Whereas when you've got someone like me going, answer this question, if you did know, and people who work with me will know that, it pushes you deeper. But you don't need to worry about it coming back, I don't think. I don't worry about my self-doubt coming back because I know that when it does, I can handle it. I may have a momentary flip out. That's okay. I'm allowed that. I can deal with it. And because I've done so much work on it, I turn it around quick. I've got to the point where I can turn it around quick if I want to. I can wallow it if I want to, but if I choose to, I can turn it quick. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. It's being able to empower yourself with the tools and the knowledge to recognize it, turn it around quickly. Because we're human. We're going to experience all the emotions. And actually, that's what your soul is here to experience. Your soul has come into this plane in this meat suit to experience everything. Your soul doesn't label things good or bad. It just wants to experience. That's why it's here. And it's got to be in this physical suit so that it can have the physical experiences. It's your ego that judges the experience as good or bad. And it's the ego's judgment that then makes things comfortable or uncomfortable. Because if you tell yourself something's bad, you're going to have a different thought and reaction around it to if you think something's good. Hope that makes sense. So short answer, after a very long answer, is the reality is if you're suffering in the past with anxiety, if you've struggled with stuff like self-doubt, it's probably going to come back. But you can handle it. You can use it as your canary. You can celebrate it. You can release it with EFT or energy practice of your choice. Because you are not the same person. You have grown. You are powerful. You are strong and you're fucking awesome. And don't let anyone tell you different. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, give me a shout. Otherwise, have an amazing rest of your day. Toodles.